and share that. So we can get started on from a talking perspective now.
Yeah, let's do that.
So I appreciate everybody coming on. Good morning to everyone. I see some people already posted in the chat. It's awesome to see everybody. I did my hair for you guys, so just kind of to prove that I still have it. But once Tori gets on, we'll share the slides. It's going to be a little different than our normal team meetings because we have two great speakers. We have
over here. There?
We have Chris, who's a BOLD coach, going to be hosting the BOLD Pivot, and we also have Dick Dillingham on the call.
Working my schedule. And
guys, Nate, can you mute your phone, please? Everyone, please.
Sure. It was 11 a.m. Oh, it's 11 a.m. now. Shit. Wow. So I didn't do my form. So that's one thing. But other than that, thank God, I've been very busy.
Cliff, are you the host? Can you mute?
I'm muting everyone right now. Go ahead.
Chris, I think you muted Brandon as well.
Everyone can unmute themselves.
Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep, we can see it. I was muted.
Awesome.
Cool. Thanks for sharing your screen. For some reason, it was pulling up weird on my screen. So like I said, good morning. We've revamped our team meeting slides a little bit. You know, one of the things we're able to take advantage of while we're not running around the office every second. So Tori is going to be our.
Sorry, just
okay.
Ignore that.
No problem. It's fine. Lead in. So Tori's going to share the screen while Chris and I run through everything. If you want, you can show the agenda. It's a little bit of a shortened agenda, like I was saying at the beginning. We're going to give some quick updates.
Right. Did not change. So just
Joe and Michael are going to be giving some. Joe's going to be giving some COVID-19 updates in the MCA update, primarily related to the unemployment. And some of those small business loans and the PPP programs that have run out. So he's going to give an update on some of those things. We'll quickly touch on the Zooms, this training schedule, run through new associates, cappers, rankings. We're going to talk about Red Day, which is obviously very different this year than it typically is. And then we'll move into our BOLD Pivot conversation with Chris Pappalardo and our guest speaker, Dick Dillingham. So we're going to be rocking and rolling. First off, we want to give a special shout out to our OP, leader of the company, Gaurav Gambhir. His birthday was over the weekend. It was on Friday. We love you, buddy. Chris, is there anything you want to say here?
I've said a lot. He's he's definitely an amazing person. Proud to be in business with him. Proud to be his partner, and all around just an absolute exceptional person. So I don't know much more I can say about this guy.
I really appreciate it. Maybe that's why I didn't get the slides in advance, Brandon.
Yeah, a little surprise for you.
I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. I
hope I talked to you yesterday. I know you had a good weekend. Busy weekend, but a good one. And I hope you really got to enjoy it.
It was such an overwhelming feeling, so much love being showered. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Tori, you want to go ahead? So I just want to make sure everyone's seeing these. So these training schedules are being created week by week. Deidre, Dana, Tori, myself, Valerie, Alexa, all of them, we're all heavily involved in creating these calendars. And they're being done week by week because, who knows where we're going to be in 2 weeks. We're trying to keep them full, but we're also trying to make sure there's enough space in there so you can lean on some of the online trainings with KWRI. If you're not seeing this email for some reason, just let us know. We have noticed that we're sending from the updates at kwphiladelphia.com email address. Just check your spam every once in a while. It has ended up in there a few times, I think, just because the word updates might be in there. But I just wanted to make everyone aware of that. Go ahead, Tor.
What is happening? Okay, here we go. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Ready? We're gonna just fly through these.
Love it.
We got
So
some cool new effects, guys.
yeah, we're updating. So we want to welcome all the new associates that joined us over the past 30 days. We have some brand new people, some great people who've been in the business for a long time, do a ton of production. We're still rocking and rolling on this end. You've seen posts about some of these people. They're new to the company and they joined at a really good time. We've been able to adapt and kind of move into our new virtual world for the past month or so, and I love seeing a lot of the newer people get right involved in the training. So if you could, if you see these guys on the Facebook page or on a training or when we're back in the office, just say hi. Dive in. They're all great people and they're taking a great opportunity to jump in with KW Philadelphia at the right time. And what's really fun is people still cap despite a shutdown, right? So Andre and Solon both capped in last month, technically in March. So congratulations to them.
Yay.
It's always weird when there's just silence.
I'm trying to be your hype girl here.
I do see, and I really do appreciate all of the chats. I see it just like firing off at the bottom of the screen.
I know.
I'm sure
I'm trying so hard not to go and open it, but
yeah, I really do appreciate you guys reacting in the chats because it is weird just talking to no one. Chris, do you want to touch on some of the Red Day things?
Yeah, I think I know the region, we're doing a virtual 5K run, which is everyone's you can donate from $5 up to as much as you want. I'm not sure if that regional 5K Red Day went out to the roster yet. But if it didn't, we'll definitely get it out to everyone. And again, you guys can just go on your own and walk or run or do whatever you want if you have families. So I think it's a great idea. And then, we're working on with KW Cares on finalizing our Red Day on what we're going to do. And I think we'll have that done this week. Correct, Brandon?
Yeah. Yep. That'll be wrapped up this week. Obviously, it's a little different than what we normally have been able to do in the past with the restrictions on gatherings and really being out in public. So we'll be getting something really, really cool out. And, we're really excited that, we still have the opportunity to give back. There are still people out there and organizations that need our help more now than ever. So we're really excited to be able to present some of those things to everybody by the end of the week. Good tour. So we want to cover some of the MCA updates. Joe Sillo, if you're able to unmute yourself, can you just give us an update on some of the COVID-19 related things? And then Michael is going to talk about some of the still really nice numbers, some of the positive numbers we had in March.
Sure. So I know the screen up there now talks about unemployment, but just a quick blurb on the payroll protection plan. As many of you already heard, those funds have been exhausted.
Yeah.
If you've applied for a loan and you haven't gotten it yet, check your banker, or you should have gotten an email of some sort of saying that the funds are gone and they're out of it right now. I know I've seen a couple from Citizens Bank and a couple other banks that the funds are gone, but the applications are still coming in and are still processing them to continue to get all your information in, get everything up to date, so that if and hopefully when there is another round of funding, those applications be ready to fly. They're talking about another $250 billion of funding. It hasn't passed yet, but they're still working on that. There's some additional, they want to add some money in for states and add some money in for hospitals on top of that. So hopefully that comes out. And if it does, I would suggest if you've applied, if you haven't applied, apply now. And if you have applied, get all your documents in. If they're waiting for, your tax returns, or they're waiting for your any profit and loss statements, anything like that, just get them into them as fast as you can, so that you're in line when the money comes out if it does. As far as unemployment goes, the Pennsylvania Pandemic Unemployment Assistance System went live on Saturday. I think it just got blown up. I know a number of people were on there bright and early Saturday morning trying to apply. I was on there doing an application just to walk through it and see all the questions they were asking, and it kicked me out. So it's just been overloaded, I think. As a matter of fact, there was a alert that came up this morning, which Brandon was nice enough to forward to me about eligibility. If you get a message that say you're not eligible for the pandemic unemployment compensation, don't worry. There's a glitch in the system. If you still believe you're an independent contractor and you're eligible to apply, there might be some wage information in there and it's telling you that you're not eligible. So give it a few days. Go back in and apply a few days if you're getting that message. Don't go over to the other regular UC system and throw in an application. It's going to mess things up for you. Just be a little patient, give it a couple days, and check back and try again. That's what they're telling everybody to do. I know it sounds odd, but quite honestly, the states are being thrown a mandate from the federal government that they're not prepared for, something they've never considered to be an option, something they should be prepared for, and now they just got to figure out how to do it. So they're having difficulties doing that. If you do have to go back and apply, you're not going to lose your eligibility. It's just going to take a little longer to get done, but it will go back to when you were eligible for it and give you those benefits if you do qualify. There's a lot of confusing questions. I'm getting calls constantly about, and I don't mind them at all, feel free. I'm getting questions about, how to fill out some of these questions. So just for you guys out there, KW, Goroff, Vicky, Chris, none of those are your employer. None of those are your supervisors. For the majority of you out there, you are all your own employers. When they ask you who's your employer and where, sorry guys, and where do you work, it's going to be your name and your home address, or your LLC and your home address. If you have a home office, and that's what uses your general mailing address. So it's not going to be KW as your employer. That's going to confuse things for you when you go to apply. It's also asking questions like, are you a business owner or independent contractor? The really strange part is that they're the same thing, essentially. There's a very fine line differentiating between the two. Quite honestly, I think the business owner questions are easier to answer. I think all of you out there as agents are business owners. You own your own business. When you start saying you're an independent contractor, it's going to ask you questions like, do you advertise? Do you pay for your own supplies? It's going to ask you all these goofy questions to try to determine that maybe you're not an independent contractor. Maybe you're really an employee and your employer just has been misclassifying you. And then they're going to go back to the employer, KW, whoever you put in there, as somebody didn't file payroll taxes for you properly. So I'm almost thinking for the majority of people out there, business owner might be the better option to answer that question. But you go either way, business owner, independent contractor, whatever you're more comfortable with, and just answer those questions. But remember, you're the owner of that business. You're the employer. Another question people get confused on is how to determine income. And I don't really have a solid answer for you on that. My answer would be, typically it's going to be your net self-employment income and what you project that to be for the next year or what it was for last year. I don't think it's gross. I don't think you're looking for your gross number. And I think that number is going to cap out at about $100,000 anyway. I think at $100,000, they're not going to provide any more benefit anyway. You're not going to get $100,000 in unemployment, but that's what they're going to base it on. And I spoke about the eligibility message. Don't panic about that. If it says you're not eligible, give it a few days, go back and try again. I think that's all I've got to really talk about, Brandon. If you have any questions or if you're hung up with something, you want to send me an email at klrw772@kw.com. I'm happy to answer them. Or call the office and they'll direct it. If you call my office line, it'll get directed to me anyway, be forwarded to my cell phone. So if I can help in any way, feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. Michael, you just want to touch on the, I know you guys have some questions in the chat. We will get to them probably later on after the after our speakers go. We can answer some questions then, or you can also email them, and we'll send out Joe's email as well in the chat. If you could type your email into the chat, that'd be cool. Yeah. Michael, you want to touch on some of the good numbers we had for March?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Some good numbers in March to report. As you all saw, lots of new agents. There were a few missing from that slide, but we had 18 new agents come on board. 184 closed transactions. That breaks down to 89 listings closed and 95 buyer side transaction closed. One thing to note is that 82 of them closed the last week of the month after the shutdown. So we are cruising along. Over $59 million in closed volume, 227 new listings taken. We do a lot of off market, so that number is even higher than that. 1,683,000 in closed GCI, that's your commission, and 180 new contracts written that we know of. Again, if you haven't submitted a green sheet for it, we don't know about it, but 180 contracts written, most of which were also written the last 2 weeks of the month after the shutdown. So that's all positive. We have lots coming in this month, and I expect to have another good month.
Thanks, Michael. I appreciate that you sharing the numbers. Basically, I mean, the key there is, like, we're still doing business, right? And some of these rankings will reflect that as well. You know, just keep on keeping on. We'll be out of this soon, hopefully. But still, just know good things are still happening. Almost $60 million in closed volume last month is awesome. This, you know, with the situation. So if you want to go to the next one. So we're going to go through our rankings for March. Some really good numbers to report. For top production, number 1 last month was Jen Grosskopf at 6 units.
This went out of order.
Trying to get too fancy on us.
Yeah.
Deborah Santafonte at 3 units, Matt Sickler at 4 units, and Adam and Stacy tied at 5 units. I mean, those are some really great numbers, you know, in a month in which half the month was a shutdown. So congratulations, everyone. And for volume, let's see what happens here. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's back to normal.
Adam Kilchak coming in with 5th place, Andrew Sutton in 4th, Joe Siligato in 3rd, Stacy in 2nd, and Jen with a huge month in 1st, 3.6 million. That's amazing. We will be sharing an easier to share slide on all of these production numbers that you can share, that we're going to be sharing to our social media. We just didn't want to share it previous to the meeting. For small teams with 3 agents or less, Jack Berry Group coming in 3rd. Best Philly Homes and Team Limitless tying for 2nd, and Laura Ertwine with 6 units coming in 1st. That's awesome. For the volume side, Jack Berry Group coming in 4th. Team Limitless in 3rd. Laura Ertwine in 2nd. And Best Philly Homes in 1st place with 1.4 million. Congratulations, guys. And this is for our large teams. This is 4 to 8 agents on your team. Love Your Stoop coming in 5th. Nate Nana's team in 4th. Fresh Places in 3rd. Deidre Quinn and Associates in 4th. 2nd. Number threw me off there, Tor. And She Moves Philly in taking the 1st place prize there.
Yeah, they got switched. Sorry about that, guys. This is a new slide template. I'm just, you know, this is all throwing me off too. I'll make sure that's fixed before we send out the screen cap.
Large team production, Philadelphia Signature Properties in 5th. Fresh Places in 4th. Love Your Stoop in 3rd. Deidre Quinn and Associates in 2nd. And She Moves Philly taking 1st place in volume too. That's an awesome job, guys. Congratulations. Top group. So again, this is 9 agents and up. Streamline with 8 in 5th place. Citywide in 4th place. Center City South in 3rd place. Summers team in 2nd. and Condo Shop Black Label Rent Philly in first. Numbers threw me off again.
Oh my God. Sorry,
65
guys.
units is awesome. For volume, Streamline in fifth, Venture Philly in fourth, Center City South in third, Summers team super close there. That's a
Summers.
small gap in second. And
Number
Condo
one.
Shop Black Label Rent Philly number 1 with just over 10 million
Not
in the
number
month of March. For all the rankings, again, we're going to send out a really nice, easily shareable slide for that.
That would be correct.
That'll show, again, some really great numbers for all the different levels. So now we're going to move right along into our bold pivot. Chris, so you're on the call, right?
You know it.
There he is. If you want to dive in here, talk about bold pivot, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, I'd be happy to. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me on. I am in Greensboro, North Carolina. However, I am supposed to be, pre-COVID, coaching BOLD in Key West, Florida. So the fine folks from Key West gave me a photo of Key West. So I am internally in Key West all day today. So that's where this has come. So anyway, my name is, again, Chris Pappalardo from Greensboro, North Carolina. I am a MAPS BOLD coach. A little bit about me. I am a BOLD coach, been there a BOLD coach for 3 years. And I'm in MAPS coaching. I have a MAPS coach. In addition, I also run a team. Last year, we sold 185 homes. Been in business about 10 years. And I still sell 40 to 50 homes a year, even being gone 2 or 3 days a week in the BOLD room. So I've learned to follow the BOLD laws, learn how to leverage and use my coach. I want to thank Chris and all your leadership for having me on. Wanted to make sure you guys know what's going on with BOLD Pivot, know what it is, what it's about, coming May 5th. And make sure that you guys all jump on and sign up. What's happening is there's 49 BOLD coaches. We get together every day from 4 to 5 o'clock, and we are putting together a new program that's going to be rolling out on Tuesday, May 5th for everybody. For you guys, for everybody, it's going to be rolling on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 4 Eastern Standard Time. We are recording it, and then so every day for the month of May, it's going to be from 2 to 4, Tuesdays through Thursdays. On Wednesdays and Fridays at 2 to 4, we're going to have a coaching corner where you can jump in, talk to us as coaches, and ask questions. And then also, when you sign up, which we're going to ask you to sign up today, because the minute you sign up, we're going to get you access to a special BOLD Pivot May Facebook page that is manned by all 49 BOLD coaches from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday, Eastern Standard Time. So that's the whole point of this, is to make sure we're available to you guys. The goal with BOLD Pivot, it's going to be $99. It's for anybody, agents, admin, non-Keller Williams folks. It's truly for anybody who's looking to get momentum moving forward. Okay? Anybody having a challenge with knowing what to do and getting up and being accountable to get it done, right? It's a little challenge because we're all in a different world. So we're putting together market of the moment conversations, because here's one of the things we know with BOLD. One of the BOLD laws says, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Well, social distancing is kind of a misnomer. What we actually are needing and wanting is physical distancing, more social connection, right? That's what we've got to get to, more social connection. So we want to make sure that you guys are doing the right things, focusing on the right market of the moment conversations, right? To help people who need help now, servers first, sales second, and we're going to be using a large scoreboard nationwide and get everybody on it and get you guys into action and hold you accountable so you'll get up every day and go to work. Or as one of my clients said, I'm a lot better when I take off my sweatpants and I put on real pants for the day. I feel better, I get into action, and many of us aren't doing that, right? We're just waiting for things to happen. I'm in a market, by the way, in Greensboro, where the state of North Carolina deemed us essential. My little Guilford County, my county, decided to up the game, and they deemed us non-essential. So counties around us were able to still show homes and list homes and go in homes, where for the past 3 weeks, my county said, nope, we can't. So we couldn't go in homes. We couldn't photograph homes for the past 3 weeks, even though those around us couldn't. It didn't get us down. We worked legally and safely within that, and we still put 9 houses under contract the past 3 weeks. So with Bold Pivot, the goal is to make sure you guys are doing digital presentations, digital showings, staying safe, still helping folks, and getting into action and making sure you make great social connection with your databases with market of the moment conversations. So that's what's happening with Bold Pivot. It's $99 Tuesday and Thursday from 2 to 4. We are going to record it, so if you can't make a session, or if you're like us, you become a full-time teacher at home with homeschooling, right? Just it's there. And then the Bold Pivot Facebook page is there as well to help you answer questions Monday through Saturday as you're having them come up with ideas on client events, digital client events. I'm doing an experiment right now, doing a coloring contest. It's pouring down rain here. So we're really just getting our ducks in a row to make sure we can give you guys the best way to move forward and show service and support to your communities, your databases, and make sure they, use you first and think of you first. It's all about mind share right now and mindset. Any questions I can answer real quick, or anything in the chat that I need to touch on, Chris, or because I want to respect y'all's time.
No, I appreciate that, Chris. Thanks so much. If anybody has questions, if you could just please put them in the chat room. And certainly, Chris, if our agents have any questions, we'll feed them to you, and then we'll get answers from you. That sounds good.
And I'll if they're coming up on the chat, I'm going to stay in your call, and I will gladly answer them. I am curious if you'll put in the chat anybody who's in right now, who knows that they need to be in on this. I'd love for you to tell me I'm in the chat. I'm just curious who's in. And again, Chris, you're welcome to give out my email address and my phone number if anybody has questions. Oh, I see one in. Way to go, Dana. I love it. Oh, Valerie, you're already registered. Bam. Days and times again. Sure. It is Tuesdays and Thursdays, 2 to 4 Eastern Standard Time, so 2 to 4 our time, right? Because it's nationwide, is the actual class. 4 weeks, all of May. And then Wednesday and Friday, we're going to have a coach's corner from 2 to 4. Okay. And then Monday through Saturday on the Bold Pivot Facebook page, from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Saturday, all 49 coaches are taking slots, and we're live managing that and answering questions on the spot, in the moment to help you guys make sure you move forward.
I know it's always a good time to take Bold, but now more than ever, I think is a great time to take Bold right now. So
it's just critical. I mean, Bold was built in 2009 in the first shift, and now we're in a new shift. And really, we have 2 mindset shifts. Really, first you got your mindset shift, and then you have your action shift, because you got to do 2 different things. You got to change the way you're looking at things, and then we've got to get you into action, doing the right actions, so we don't mistake movement for achievement.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Chris.
And one quick announcement on Bold. We're running it the same way that we would run a normal Bold, where if you're a solo agent with us and you take Bold on your first transaction, we'll return you the $100, similar to what we do with the normal Bold. So basically, again, it still ends up being free for you, and it's a no-brainer at this, in our current state. So if you have any questions on that, obviously let me know. Chris, you want to introduce our next speaker?
It would be my pleasure and honor to welcome someone who I've had the privilege of attending FSO with him, which is franchise systems orientation. I'm a Quantum Leap coach, so I've had the pleasure of listening to Dick in Quantum Leap as well. He is an owner in the Plano Market Center in Texas. He's a Texas native, been with Keller Williams since 1995, I believe. All around, just amazing guy, been through a million shifts. So I just want to welcome Dick Dillingham to the call.
All right.
Woo!
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And Chris, Bold Coach Chris, you did a great job. Let me just jump on the back of that. I think now is a great time to take Bold Pivot. I mean, I think it's always a great time to take Bold, but right now, one of the things we have to do in the situation that we're in is, I really believe we have to stay busy. And my gosh, if you're going to stay busy, how about staying busy in a positive, productive kind of way? you stole a little bit of my thunder, Chris, because you guys must have talked about, we had Dusty Oglesby on for Plano about a week ago. And Dusty, as you know, is a BOLD coach also. And he's the first one I heard say, I'm not practicing social distancing anymore. I'm only going to practice physical distancing.
Yep.
I don't want to be socially distant. And I love that. So thank you for bringing that up. I'm just going to echo your statement on that. Listen, bold pivot. You just can't say no to that. Figure out a way to make it work. I mean, my gosh, if you can't come up with $99, I'll bet we can figure out how to come up with it for you. It's just too valuable right now in today's times. Well, I appreciated Chris reaching out to me. Chris, one of the things that you did, I loved it in your email. Said, well, I don't know. I know you're busy, but you never know unless you ask. And it's kind of a takeoff on some things a lot of people say to me. They say, gosh, Dick, how can we get you to come? Or how can we get you on a call? Or how can we get you? I said, well, you just ask. Ask. That's all it took, you know. I've got 3 more today and 2 tomorrow, but we figured out when we could do yours, and here we are. So I am thrilled and honored. I am thrilled and honored to be a part of your meeting today. I looked up your numbers, and you guys, I am so impressed with the great job you're doing with your numbers and your growth. And my gosh, 18 new agents this month. That's fantastic. Have they not heard that times are tough? I mean, have they not heard that they're doomed for failure? Have they not heard that this is an impossible industry to be in right now? Well, I hope not, because now's the greatest time all year to be getting into the business. You know, in a shift, and one of the reasons that Chris wanted me on this call is I'm old. And that means I've been through 5 shifts. Five. Look, and I'm still here. 5 shifts. And the crazy thing is, in some ways, from a concept standpoint, they're all the same. They're really all the same. You're gonna deal with doubt, fear, the unknown, uncertainty, negativity. That's just like the characteristics that are in every shift. And I'm sitting here thinking about that. And I want to tell you a story about the last shift. By the way, the last shift was the worst I've ever been in. We'll see how this one turns out. I don't anticipate this will be the worst I've ever been in, but I do anticipate we're not finished with it yet. I think we have 2 components to this shift. And Chris, BOLD Coach Chris mentioned the mental shift and then the action shift. And I agree with that. But in another way to look at it, we got the medical shift and then we got the economy shift. And once we shut down that economy, and a lot of us are still shut down to varying degrees, that's like stopping the train. That means no more momentum for right now. So when we do come out of the station, the train station, so to speak, it's going to take time to ramp up. Let's just be realistic about that. You just got to be realistic. The worst thing that can, I think there's an expression that says, denying reality doesn't change reality. So you just got to be realist. Well, I want to tell you a story about the last shift, and it's going to apply to this shift also. A friend of mine called me one morning, and the last shift was, for those who don't know or maybe don't want to remember, it started in about 2007, maybe 6, depending on what part of the country you were in. And it almost always, this shift is the same way. It followed 2005, which at that time was the greatest year in real estate history, which makes the shift seem much deeper and much worse. But in 2006 or 7 is when it started, and it finished in 2011 or 12. So one of the things that made that shift so difficult, it was 4 to 5 years long. And so it could wear on you. But in about 2009 or 10, a friend of mine called me one day, it was first thing in the morning, and she said, Dick, have you read the paper today? And I just knew this was a little bit of a setup. I just didn't know exactly what. I said, no, I haven't read the paper yet. And she said, well, it's on the front page. Let me read it to you. It's in 4-inch bold letters. It says, recession could become a depression. Recession could become a depression. It said, hey, as bad as it is, it could get worse, and it might get worse. And she says, Dick, what do you think about that? And I said, well, you know what? It doesn't really matter to me what they call it. It doesn't really matter to me what they decide I can and can't do. I mean, they can't control me completely. There are things I have control of. And the one thing I know as a bottom line is I have to figure out how to sell houses. That's what I do. I sell houses. I sell houses if it's a recession. I sell houses if it's a depression. I sell houses if it's a boom. I sell houses if it's cold. I sell houses if it's snow. I sell houses when it's dark, when it's windy, when it's sunny, when it's hot. I sell houses. That's what I do. And all of these other things just change how I'll do it. So you got to have this can-do mentality right now. You just got to outfight, outlast all the quitters, because there's people quitting right and left. I heard one of our presentations. We've had in Plano, which is a suburb of Dallas, we have a call every day. Now, we've had a call every day for the last 3 weeks, and we're now going to 3 a week instead of 5 days a week. But I'm going to share some of my ahas from those meetings. But one of the guys said recently, he said 75% of the realtors are or will soon be out of the business. Now, I don't know. No, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that, because that didn't make sense to me. It is 75%. He said 75% have or will soon quit working. Big difference. Okay, but same impact. If they've quit working, then your competition is a lot less. So here's what I know about shifts. What I know about shifts is you're going to be bombarded. You are being bombarded by negativity, negative comments, negative thoughts, negative ideas, negative opinions, negative polls, negative statistics, negative predictions. You know, in some ways, that's no different than every day. We're just getting it on steroids now. We're getting a lot more negativity than normal. But I mean, everybody here knows that there are negative people in the world. And hopefully you're going to become more cognizant that they're not in your world. You got to keep negative people out of your world. The lady who called me that morning and said, hey, I just want to share this news with you. The paper is saying recession could become depression. What do you think about that? And when I told her what I told you, I said, I just got to sell houses anyway. She said in kind of lame, kind of half-hearted fashion, yeah, that's what I thought too. Well, that's not what she thought. She was looking for a pity party, and she wanted me to join. And you know what? I looked at that after we hung up, and I moved her out of my inner circle. I don't take calls from her anymore. I don't seek her advice. I don't have conversations with her. I can't afford it. What if the night before I'd had 2 deals fall out? And then she hits me. Okay, now I'm weak. And so she hits me then, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. That's not what happened, but I just thought back about it a lot. And I thought it could have happened. So here's what I know. Every time I hear something negative, and let me share this with you. 5 shifts, over 40 years in the business. But you know what? I'm fragile. My mindset is fragile. I can get down. But here's what I know. I know I can get down. I know I'm fragile. And so every time I hear something negative, I go look for positive things. I seek out positivity. If I hear one negative comment, it takes me about 3 positives to cover it up. It's just like I just outdo it with positive thoughts. And I'm going to give you some ideas about where to go for positive thinking before we finish. You know, I think in the last 3 weeks, I may have had attended more training than I have in the last 5 years. I mean, I'm on a call 5 times a day, it seems like. And I want to thank and congratulate you guys for getting 100 people on this call. That is fantastic. you're right. Somebody made the comment, you got to dress up for business like you're going to work every day. You need a schedule. You need a place to go. You can't just hang out in every room in the house. You can't, you gotta have a schedule. You gotta have a routine. And by the way, some of you probably have realized this. Your kids need that too. If your kids are at home, they need a schedule. They need a routine. They had it at school, and just because it's homeschool for a while, they really need it at home also. So have a schedule for your kids, have a room where the kids do their homeschooling, just like you go to work, you have a room for it or a place or a table, and you dress for it and you go to work. And so that's what I've done. I just fight negativity with positive thoughts and positive ideas. And I've just got so many good things that I've seen and heard. I want to share some of those with you now. There was an article in Inman about a week ago, and it was, which I don't usually read many of the articles in Inman, but I do scan them just in case there's a positive one. And this was a positive one because it was written by Jay Papalardo with Keller Williams International. Jay's in charge of our education and at one time was in charge of research and is the co-author of the MREA Shift and the One Thing books. But what he was talking about is that he and his wife, Wendy Papalardo, who runs a major team in Austin, had a virtual open house. And they did it on Facebook Live. Now, you may have seen some of these articles. It'd be hard to miss the articles on having a virtual open house and how to do it. And I'm not going to tell you how to do it. What I'm going to tell you is the results, because the results were fascinating to me. She said it took about, Jay said it took Wendy about 20 minutes to tour the house on Facebook Live. During the touring of the house, they had 30 people watching or plugged in or connected. 30 people for an open house. And they said when they finished the open house, they posted the video, and within the next week, they had 1,300 visits. One open house, one virtual open house, 30 live people on the tour itself, and then 1,300 people clicked on it at some point in the first week. And one of the points they made, first of all, the obvious point is that's a lot better than you sitting in an open house for 4 hours. You're not going to get 30 people. You're certainly not going to get 1,300 inquiries. And the second point they made was, and everybody's address was real because they came by on technology. And so you had a perfect way to follow up with everybody who connected. And then they talked about the seller not having to be out of the house for 4 hours and you not having to put out balloons and directionals. And then I thought about it at the end and I said, and there was no safety issues. There were no safety issues for you holding the house open. There were no safety issues for the seller's possessions. And I'm thinking, all right, this is representative of what happens in every shift. We come out of it learning how to do things better than how we did them going in. I mean, we're sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, we have to do virtual this. We have to do virtual that. We have to, you know what? I'm looking at the benefits of doing virtual and I'm thinking, maybe we should have been doing virtual open houses before this. It sure adds up to a lot more benefits, a lot more value than what I think the average open house turns out to be. That's just my observation, but I thought it was a very cool illustration of more value than than quote unquote, the old way of doing it. And yet, depending on how you look at it, some of us now think we're being forced into virtual open houses, forced into virtual showings. I got a news flash for you. I've been in the business long enough to know this. There was a day that you would not want your buyer looking at any other houses, either by drive-bys or on the internet, without you. because you wanted complete control of that buyer. Oh my gosh, if that buyer got any information, matter of fact, I'm so old that we didn't even want the buyer to have information unless it came through us. And if it didn't come through us, oh, woe is me. Oh, woe is me. The real estate industry won't need me anymore. And you know what's happened? What's happened is we've opened up information to the buyers, and we've created an incredible leverage situation where you don't have to spend 100 hours with a buyer showing them 45 houses. You can give them a list of houses. They can do drive-bys. They can go onto the internet. They can go to your mobile app. They can get to MLS. Now there's 3,700 bazillion pictures for every open house for every listing. And it's turned out to be better. In the old days, we used to present every offer face-to-face to the other agent. We used to, if we had a counter offer, we presented it face-to-face, 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 face-to-face. That's the only way we can do things. The emotion, the body language, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know what? Time is a factor. Time is a factor. Now, by the way, there used to be a deal called faxing. Faxing. That was a very high-tech, low touch, but high-tech phenomenon. Texting. Faxing. So now when I hear someone say, I want to fax something to you, I have to go, I'm not sure I know how to receive a fax now. It's just, the world changes. The world changes. We need to change with it. Let me give you some ideas about what to do if you don't have enough to do right now. And I'm going to give you the findings over the last 3 weeks of calls that I have participated in, either most of them as an audience member. But I want to give you my takeaways or my ahas. And I'll give you a couple of the ones that are overwhelming first. First of all, it's normal that there's fear and doubt out there. So if you're fearful, if you have doubts, if you're uncertain, join the club. That's okay. Acknowledge that, but then fight it. Fight it, just like I talked about. Cover it up with positive people, cover it up with positive articles, positive video sessions, Zoom sessions, Facebook sessions, FaceTime sessions. Go to social media. I would say on social media right now, 8 out of 10 posts are positive. So if you start looking at a post on social media and it's one of those 2 that's not positive, skip it. Just skip it. You don't need it. You don't need it. Stay positive at all times. Have a schedule. We talked about that. Here's another overwhelming thing I've heard like 5 times. Call more people, touch more people than you've ever touched before. I mean, my gosh, you've got a lot going on in terms of available time. So where I was advising people before all this, I was saying make 5 calls a day to your database. Now the overwhelming number is 20. 20 calls a day, 20 touches a day. By the way, it's touches. It's text and it's calls. Wendy Papazan uses text and she uses calls. Chad Smith uses calls. Dennis Tuttle uses text and calls. And your script goes like this. It's a brand new script. It goes like this. How are you doing? You might want to write that down. How are you doing? I care about you. Is there anything I can do for you? This is rocket science stuff, right? I'll bet they don't even do this in bold. I bet I'm shattering new horizons, right, Chris?
You always do, brother. You always do.
Ask them how they're doing. Ask them. You know, the old adage is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so calling and checking on someone. Matter of fact, I've got a new thing I'm going to adopt, and you guys are free to steal it. I'm going to call these calls, these are my care calls. I'm calling them my care calls. And I made 5 care calls yesterday. I should have made 20, and I'm going to make up for it. But I called one of the people I texted was Denise. And I said, Denise, I just want you to know I'm praying for you and I'm thinking about you. I'm so proud to be in business with you. And I feel so lucky that we're on the same team. That was it, period, the end. Got a response back from her within 2 minutes. And she just was telling me what was going on in her world. She's a 2-time cancer winner. and she's got an appointment with her doctors on May 5th to see what her next outlook looks like. So just things you learn about people and things you want to know about people. One of the other things I saw in some of these things, these are 3 great questions. Now they presented them as 2, but I added the 3rd one. So here's 3 great questions to ask yourself during this time period. Number 1, who am I listening to? Who am I listening to? That's that environment thing. Are you surrounding yourself with people who build you up, or are you surrounding yourself with people who tear you down? I got to tell you this right now, you can never afford to be surrounded by people who will tear you down. But now it's more important than ever. It's more important than ever. Because if you think of the whole world and society as one big group, the divide line is really distinct when times get tough. When times are challenging, there's the people who think, oh, woe is me, and the people who think, oh my gosh, there's going to be some great opportunities here. So who am I listening to? Number two question, what am I telling myself? What am I telling myself? By the way, what do you think BOLD is going to talk about? BOLD is going to talk about self-talk. BOLD's going to talk about affirmations. BOLD's going to talk about scripts that you use not only with your clients and customers, but with yourself. What am I telling myself? And then the 3rd question was my add-on a little bit, and it was, how much action am I taking? How much action am I taking? So those people who know me know that I call myself a quote ninja. That means I collect quotes. I love quotes. Some of the quotes are just ahas from books I read. And I probably have 100 to 150 pages of ahas, which means thousands of quotes. One of my favorite quotes, and it applies all the time, but it applies right now more than ever. And it comes from John Wooden, who was the college basketball coach at UCLA. They won 14 national championships, undeniably the greatest coach in men's college basketball history. And here was his quote: don't let what you can't do or won't do, that's my add-on, or won't do, stop you from what you can do or will do. Once again, my add-on. Don't let what you can't do stop you from what you can do. And I don't care what you guys are. I don't care if you're partially shut down or completely shut down. All right, there may be some things you can't do, but there are a whole lot of things that you can do, and you got to concentrate on that area of possibility thinking. What is it I can do? And that was important to me when I was building my sales career. And it's kind of crazy, but it's just important to me every day of my life. Don't let what you can't do stop you from what you can do. The reality is nobody can do everything. So focus on those things that you're good at, that you like doing, that are called your strengths, and stay with those things. Look for positive articles. I read an article online somewhere, and it said, here was the title. I always get hung up on titles. Best 6 strategies for staying productive in self-isolation. Best 6 strategies for staying productive in self-isolation. There's another one that said, 13 things to avoid if you want to be, mentally strong people, the 13 things they avoid. There's stuff like this. Mentally strong individuals don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. Don't shy away from change. Don't waste time on things they can't control. Don't fear taking calculated risks. Don't dwell on the past, and on and on. So I look for those things. Here's another idea for you to think about. We need to hear these things more than once. We need to hear them continually. We need to hear things continually. I'm doing a session today on Connect Live for KWU, and we're doing it on the 30-30-40 model. The 30-30-40 model, which is a budget model. And if you don't know what that stands for, get your MREA out, your Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, and look up 30, 30, 40. You need to know what it is. You need to read it again. You need to review it. We need to hear most things, if not all positive things, over and over and over. That's just the way life is. So I would read positive things, MREA, the one thing, shift. I would reread them if I need to. I would read Andy Andrews as an author. I would read John Maxwell as an author. I would read Zig Ziglar as an author. I would read Tony Robbins as an author. I like Brian Buffini as an author. I would just surround myself with positive support. My last thought for you is this. Keep this in mind. Optimism is contagious. So is pessimism. So surround yourself with optimism. Thanks for doing such a great job. I'm a firm believer that the better we do in Philadelphia, the better we'll do in Dallas. And the better we do in Dallas, the better we'll do in North Carolina. And the better we do in North Carolina, the better we'll do in Chicago. We are one team. We are a big team. We are a great team. We are number one. We have the best people in any company in the industry, and we will prevail together. We will help each other win. So thank you, guys. Hope you have a great day. Don't know if there's anything else you want to go over, Chris, but those were kind of some of my thoughts off the top.
You are amazing, Dick. We appreciate you and your time. Maybe, can you have time for maybe one or two questions?
Sure.
Awesome. Tori, are there any other questions in the chat room? If not, someone can just unmute themselves and please speak up.
All right, since nobody's going, Chris, I can't help myself but talk.
I was just ready to go. Go ahead, buddy.
I was muted. Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. People were just kind of commenting on everything you were saying. No time for negativity. Saying thank you. Put those recommendations in the chat. Oh, can you put those recommendations in the chat or make available for distribution later?
I think this is going to be recorded, right? We can just post the video.
Yeah, it is recorded. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Gaurav.
One other thing I'm doing, and I started this about 2 weeks ago on Facebook, because that's my social media of choice. I've started my positive thought for the day. And so every day between 5 and 6 a.m., or usually between 5 and 6 a.m., because I'm an early riser, and I just put my positive thought for the day. And I'm probably getting roughly 200, 250 reactions every day. And it's just my way of trying to help start off your day in a positive vein. Here's the rub, or here's the secret formula to life, frankly. I'm trying to help you, and in trying to help you, I'm actually being helped perhaps even more. Because for every positive thought I put down for that day, I go through 50 to 100 positive thoughts, trying to pick out the one I want to share with you. I have literally 50 pages of quotes sitting in front of me that I'll go through every day to select one to share with you. So it's like that Zig Ziglar quote. If you help enough other people get what they want, you can have anything in life you want. It's also like part of our value proposition at Keller Williams. We succeed through others. Succeed through others. So that's been a real cool thing for me. It's been encouraging to me that people like it, that it's helped them. And I just know that I've probably gotten more out of it than anybody who's observing or watching or tracking it.
That's awesome. Gaurav, did you want to ask one question? Then we'll
I'll ask one question. Dick, I'm also the OP of the Market Center. Thank you so much for being here. I took a class for the FSO with you in Austin, and that was probably one of the best classes I took. So, I think everybody's excited to have you here. Thank you. So one question that I have in my mind, that listening to you, while we talk about positivity, it's natural that during these times, the frustration or just the anger or just the helplessness of being stuck sometimes in a place gets to you. It's no matter what you do, it just gets to you.
Right.
What do you, I'm sure you probably have gone through that yourself as well. And then how do you get out of it yourself, being in physical isolation without having to talk to somebody? You can call someone or go to social media, but as they say, if you're in isolation, you still need to go on social media. You still need to go and read those positive ads.
Right.
Like, what is it? How do you get out of that? Because I've been listening to that from a lot of our agents or friends and I have a large team, that it's challenging. They won't come to the Zoom call.
It is. First of all, there is no easy way to do it, but it is a simple way to do it. There was a guy that we had speak at, he actually spoke, I think, at Masterminds many years ago, and then he was at our cultural summit a few years ago. And Cliff, I forget Cliff's last name, but one of his tagline was, when he goes up to people, he says, "Tell me something good," rather than "How are you? How you doing? Hey, what's going on?" He says, "Tell me something good." And he said, you'd be surprised how many people have to work at thinking about telling another person something good. And I think it's a mindset. I think the whole thing is a mindset. I continually, and by the way, you're right, I can't avoid feeling alone at times. I can't avoid feeling stress. I can't avoid feeling like, the weight of the world is on my shoulders. Although I'm not an OP anymore, so I don't have to deal with that as bad. But when I feel that way, I become proactive, whether it's social media for a half an hour, because you can read some very uplifting things on social media. Whether it's calling people that I know will feed me, I call people just to maybe have a laugh. There's 2 or 3 people in our office, and you've got them in your office, who just always seem to be able to set their hair on fire. I mean, they seem to come out. I came out with one yesterday, and it said this. This was one of our agents who posted this. She said a couple was talking with each other recently during this pandemic, and they decided they didn't want to have kids. And then they decided they would tell their children at dinner. And so just a laugh, see, that's all it takes. It doesn't take much at all. When we start the class Quantum Leap, most of the time I'll say, get your phones out, turn them on. I'm going to give you 1 minute to call someone and make their day. And they first look at me like I'm crazy, and then I have to repeat it. And I say, call someone and make their day, make them feel better. I'm going to give you 1 minute. It doesn't take long. And then when they get off the phone and we get back together as a class, I say, now, how do you feel? And guess what? This is not magic. They feel great. They feel great. They got comments like, I can't believe that you're calling me. Thank you so much for caring about me. We get a few funny ones, which help. Funny ones are good too. They say, what's wrong? We had one class member said one time, the teacher's making me do this. So I just want to call you and tell you I was thinking about you. And I said, no, don't say you have to do this. I mean, life is hilarious. I look for funny things. One of the things I collect country and Western hits. I collect country and Western lyrics. I mean, I've got hundreds of them. Like, how can I miss you if you won't go away? There ain't no queen in my king-size bed. You're the reason our kids are ugly. If I'd have shot you when I wanted to, I'd be out of prison by now. Okay, just look for stuff like that. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Oh, it's funny.
But you just got to fight it, and you got to be relentless. You got to be more relentless than the negativity is. And you just got to cover it up. So when I laugh, when I feel good about something, I forget about how bad I was feeling.
You're so true. That's the last 4 things you said. I was just laughing, and I can just feel my energy right now.
There you go.
And my first thought came to mind was, do I know any jokes?
Yeah, that's right.
And it wasn't about anything else in my life right now.
No,
First thing
exactly.
came to mind was, do I know any jokes?
Exactly.
Thank you for changing my mind.
You know, when I heard the post about we've decided not to have kids and we were going to tell our kids at dinner, the first thing I did was go tell my wife. I said, "Oh, Charlie gave us another great post. This is hilarious." And I read it to her. You know, we share things like that to pick each other up. That's one of the great things about our company. Our company has so many great people who will participate in positivity that you just got to reach out and we will cover you up with positive thoughts and positive support. And you know that having gone to FSO before. You know that in that room, everybody was there to help everybody else. That's the biggest reason I love teaching that class, is the positive energy in the room. It's a fabulous atmosphere.
Yep.
It definitely is. And
I can look at how many of you guys you got on this call, and I can look at your numbers on my classic report. I can look at your top producers and the amount of business they're doing. It is everywhere. Positivity is everywhere in Philadelphia.
We are very lucky and fortunate to be surrounding ourselves with some great people in our company.
Yep, that's the key, isn't it? Surround yourself with great people.
It really is.
We thank them for the opportunity, for letting us be around them as well.
Yeah.
Well, thank
All
you.
right. Thank you.
It was an honor to be thought about. So thank you, guys.
Dick, it's an honor to have you, and thanks for staying over the half hour, and thanks for pouring into our agents and to our leadership. I really, really appreciate you.
Well, thank you, guys. Now you got to get on the KWRI call right away.
That's exactly right.
Get on the KWRI call, and then you can at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock your time, you get on the KW Connect Live call with me, and then stay
exactly
busy.
Right.
Stay busy doing positive, productive things.
Yep.
You guys have a great day and have a great week. I'll look forward to seeing great things out of the Central City, Philadelphia office markets.
Yep. Thanks, Dick.
Thank you, guys.
Have an awesome
Thanks,
day.
Chris. Thanks, Gavi.
Yeah.
Cool. That was awesome. We definitely appreciate him coming on and sharing all that with us. Before we get off, we just want a quick update from our MSA partners. You know, it's important that they always have an opportunity to keep us informed of what's going on. There's been a lot of goofy things going on in the mortgage world over the past few weeks. So Jim, Melissa, Jesse, Adam, if you guys want to give a quick update on what's going on in the mortgage world, that'd be awesome.
Hey, it's Jim. I'll jump in real quick just to say I see this week Adam and Finance of America are each given kind of COVID-19 Q&A, kind of explain from the lending side what's how the market's being impacted. A lot of positive things, a lot of opportunities there. Some areas where qualifying is being a little bit challenged. If you can jump on, I don't remember exactly when Adam's is, but ours is Thursday at 3. The only other thing I'll mention is I'm going to try and toss out for the agents a update on the homestead exemption. I'll send you a link. I did call just to see anybody who purchased a primary to make sure it's a good outreach for you guys to just send out to your people, make sure they understand the application process, because they're going to save a little bit over $600 a year ongoing on that. So that's all I got. Quick, right?
Great job, Jim. Yeah, just like Jim just said, this is Adam Funk, Garden State Home Loans. I've got mine tomorrow, Tuesday at 1 o'clock. So if you get a chance, hop on. Both Alyssa and I will probably be covering pretty much the same thing. It's just giving you updates of what's going on in the industry. Good things to know, especially if you've got people that have been pre-approved recently, to just make sure that they are still pre-approved and things haven't changed to affect them. Overall, here on my side, things are still operating business as normal. So if you have any questions, or if you're unsure about a client, just reach out. We're all here to help, all three of us.
Awesome. Jesse, are you still on the call? No, I had to hop off. I know we went a little bit over. Chris, anything last minute you want to add before we wrap up?
I would just say, just like Dick was saying, stay tapped into the trainings that are going on at KWRI on shift pivot. I know this Wednesday we have Gene Rivers coming on from 8 to 8:30. Gene Rivers is amazing, another great guest speaker. So I implore all of you definitely to be on that. I know, Brandon, that we have the Peters team speaking as well. Is that right?
Yes. Yep.
And will it be following the call?
That will be part of the top 20% meeting.
Got it. Perfect.
Yep.
Yep. And just stay tapped in to all the trainings. I know we have a lot of Zoom trainings during the week. I'm teaching shift on Friday. I know Goroff had a class that he taught, I believe, on Friday. Was it, Goroff?
I think it was last week on time management.
Time management, right? So
yeah.
All of us, the whole leadership team is really pouring in. Michael and Joe have been doing a great job getting commission checks cut, taking escrows. Alexa and Autumn and Joe Mandel from Society Hill have been doing a phenomenal. We're all tapped in. We're all working hard, so you guys get everything that you need. So, and I also want to thank all of our agents for really just doing a great job and being tapped into our trainings as well. I noticed that the attendance on our trainings has been great, which shows that you guys are involved. So really want to thank you guys for that. Goroff, you got anything you want to say?
And if there's anything that we're not doing, don't be shy in reminding us. If there's any particular class that you'd like us to do and we're not doing, send an email to one of us, and we'll make sure.
Yeah, I wanted to just kind of piggyback off of that really quickly. One, I wanted to thank Title this morning for doing that class. That was really awesome. Some really awesome information. If you weren't on that class or you weren't able to make it, it was recorded. So we'll be replaying that. So you'll get that information. There was a ton
If you see somebody else doing something different, remind us and say, hey, I saw something like this. We as a team should be doing it as well. Help us get better as well.
Yeah. And if there are any classes that you guys want that we aren't doing, reach out to us. Education committee is meeting once a week and revamping the schedule. So we're adding things every single week.
Yeah. Thanks, Tori.
Mm-hmm.
And also one last thing too, I want to add in, let's look for some opportunities like right now in your business where you have a hole in your business right now. And I'll give you a quick example. I'm going to have a speaker on in 2 weeks who specializes, in pre-foreclosures. And maybe look at those, look at REOs. It's going to be a great opportunity in the coming weeks or months. So again, just keep looking for opportunities. Brandon, back to you.
That's all we got. Last thing, I'm sure Vicky would be glad to go into this longer with anyone who has more questions, but just stick to the PAR guidelines. Let's not get ourselves in any trouble. If you have any questions on specifics, reach out. Just let's stick to those guidelines. And if you see anybody with some questions, feel free to answer them for them. That's all I had. I appreciate everybody coming on, staying 15 minutes over. We're here if you need us, so reach out if you have anything. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you all.
Thank you.